here. USC at Michigan in the Big House. So prior to this season, people were picking Michigan like crazy, right? I mean, I think
Mhm.
at one point they were like favored by 8 points or something like that. Well, the line has shifted, and now they're favored. USC is favored many places by 5.5. I think it says 6.5 down there. I took that picture earlier today, but I think that has since moved to 5.5 at many places. I don't know if it has at ESPN, but at many places it's moved to 5.5. Michigan bringing in Alex Orji. I think they're also going to have Kalel Mullings be the starting running back in this game. I don't know how you don't, right? I mean, Donovan
Mhm.
Edwards is a home run threat, but he's not offering you the down to down consistency you need from a
Yep.
starting running back. And Michigan is probably going to be down Colston Loveland. We don't know that for sure, but it sounds like even if he is playing, he will be at least limited to some point. So my question to you, Zach, is with all this stuff going on with Michigan, do they stand a chance, or are you like, no way, USC is going to come out on top in this one?
I think a lot of people are overvaluing the USC win over LSU. Now, I think LSU is really good. I've maintained that they are number 2 in my power rankings because of that win. I've said it several times. They outcoached LSU. And LSU has
And
not
the
looked.
shutout against Utah State was impressive too. I mean, Utah State, I'm not trying
it
to say they're a great team or anything, but still,
it
I think you get
is.
credit for a shutout.
It is. It is. I think you and I were talking off air, and I think I won't steal your thunder. Um, but I'll just say this. I think LSU has shown that they are maybe not as good as we thought. They should have lost to Southern Cal, the other or not Southern Cal. They should have lost to South Carolina, the other USC. But the refs decided to make it 15 on 11 or 18 on 11 or however many refs there are with just egregious calls. Um, they gave up 21 points to Nicholls State. I mean, that tells me that what USC did on offense was actually kind of average, although I love Miller Moss. Like that's not a shot at Miller Moss. It's just that what they did against LSU was average. And defensively, I think if LSU actually sticks with the running game, I think they score more than 24. And so here's my concern for this game. I think if you're saying that Michigan's going to go to a wing T with Alex Orji, I think that actually might be hard for USC to defend against. I don't think this is going to be like Texas USC or Texas
No,
Michigan.
no,
I
I
don't think it's that at all.
yeah,
Um, I think Michigan stands a very good chance because I don't think USC is as good as the LSU win may have suggested a couple weeks ago.
yeah. I do not see this game in any way, shape, or form like Texas, Michigan. There are some people out there predicting that's going to happen. I don't think you've watched the teams if you think that's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yep.
Uh, Blue Wolverine is here. He says, "Greetings, good people. You made it just in time for the Michigan talk, Blue Wolverine." Or you're just now commenting. You've been here the whole time. If that's the case, thanks for being here. But I don't think this is going to be anything like the Texas Michigan game. I am predicting USC to win and USC to win by a couple scores, but I think that's going to come later in the game because I think Michigan's defense is going to be worn down. I agree with you that the wing T is going to be difficult for if they do decide to run that, which I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Kirk Campbell, so
Yep.
I look at something and say this is what you should do. I've said that multiple times. Kirk Campbell has done the opposite. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully Sharon Moore has put his hand more into this offense and been like, Kirk, you got to figure this out, dude, because this
Yeah.
offense
This is
should
bad.
be better. We have more playmakers than you realize. And it's not the entire offensive line. Like Miles Hinton has not been terrible. The left guard, I forget his name off the top of my head, has not been terrible. And you put who's the better center? I'm getting mixed up. Is it Crippen? You put Crippen in. That
Crippen.
that
Yeah.
offensive line was much better with Crippen in. So
Yep.
are they going to make the right decision and put the right guys in there? If you have Crippen in there, if you have Kalel Mullins in there the majority of the time, which I guess if you have the wing T, you can have Mullins and Donovan Edwards in there. But you have Mullins and Crippen in there. Now I don't know what you do about right tackle Evan Link. I think you're stuck with him. But
Mm-hmm.
that's more of a pass protection thing, which to me If I'm Michigan, I don't drop back any more than 12 times in this game.
Yep.
This Penn State 2.0. All right, we're
Yep.
just going at it with the run, and we're hitting USC. Now, I do think Dan Lin, better defensive coordinator, and he's
Yes.
going to be prepared. He's going to be able to get his guys ready for this. I do think, saying Alex Orji is your quarterback this early in the week was a little skeptical if that was a
Yeah.
good idea or not.
Yeah.
I which I sound like a hypocrite. I've been one to say I don't think it's that big of a deal that you have to wait the entire offseason to name your starting quarterback. Like some people wait till like the week before to name their starting quarterback before the first game. I think that's kind of lame. In this situation, Sherrod Moore was playing with house money. He could have made
Mhm.
USC think, hey, you don't know what kind of offense we're going to run. You don't know if we're going to have the wing T spread option with Alex Orji or if we're going to run the traditional pro style with Davis Warren. You got to prepare for both. Now that he has said it's Alex Orji, guess what? Prepare for the option, prepare for the wing T, prepare for all of this quarterback running stuff because they know that's Alex Orji's game. Now, I do think it gets a little overblown, the whole like Alex Orji can't throw thing. He's thrown
Mhm.
multiple touchdown passes so far this season, so obviously he can throw. But again, I probably wouldn't have him throw any more than maybe 12, 15 times at most this game. And that's going to be a big thing for Michigan. Can their defense, and I think they're good enough, can their defense
Mhm.
keep USC off the board enough at the beginning of the game so that they don't get behind and have to trust Alex Orji's arm and they can continue to run their offense the way they want to run it? If they can do that, Michigan will win.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all right. Blue Wolverine, he's saying some stuff here. He says Michigan's success will depend on O-line play and play calling / substitutions. I cannot even call the game because of so many unknown
Yep.
unknown stills. Yes, I agree. Orji is starting, but don't be surprised if Tuttle doesn't make an appearance. Yeah, I I tell you, I'm having a hard time with the Tuttle stuff because
I,
we hear that he's getting better, and then we hear there's setbacks in practice, and so like
I,
I don't know. For me, it's like I'm not gonna believe Tuttle plays until he plays. Am I wrong on that, Zach?
I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter if Tuttle plays or not. I don't think he's good enough. Like he's a 7-year guy for a reason, and he hasn't started for a reason. So
Well, and like also the other part of it too is like commit to a quarterback, right?
yeah, it's
Like it's week 4.
yeah.
I
Don't I agree? I like to do that with quarterbacks this late in the game. I think you just got to commit to Orgy at this point. And yeah, do you want me to go for score prediction here or what would be
Sure, yeah,
helpful?
do your score
Yeah.
prediction.
I I think USC struggles early. I think USC's offense is more predicated on the talent of receivers, not as much on the offensive line. So I think early they get a couple three. I think Michigan gets a couple 3-and-outs. I think they try to sit on the ball, try to run as much as they can with the quarterback. I think Michigan's leading at half. Like I think maybe like a 13-10 something type of score. I think Michigan's defense is going to get tired ultimately, and they don't have the depth. I think Michigan scores, they get to the high 20s again, 27. I think Michigan makes it look more respectable at the end. I have 27-23.
Wow. Okay, so I have 27-13. And like I said, I think that's predominantly because of what you said, the defense there at the end of the game. I think the biggest thing for me in this game is the defensive line for Michigan. Can the defensive line for Michigan get the run stops and can they get pressure on Miller Moss consistently enough to alter those throws and possibly create a few turnovers? Because I
Yeah,
think that's what the Michigan offense is going to need in order to score a couple of times. I think
yeah,
they'll bring the ball down the field once or twice, field goal, touchdown. But I think if you want additional scores outside of that, you're going to need some help from the defense, getting some turnovers and putting yourselves in good situations, possibly a blocked punt or something like that. I mean, that's
mhm,
something that Michigan definitely has in their arsenal. They've been a team who's had good special teams in the past. Don't watch the Alabama game, but they've had good special teams in the past. So, to me, if that defensive line can hold up the entire game, get pressure on Miller Moss, stop the run, I think that's going to be huge for him. I just think it's really, really hard when you don't play as much depth as you did last year for your defensive line to stay fresh
Mhm.
and to stay good the entire game.
Yep.
USC, they're going to have to keep USC from having big, long, 10, 12, 15 play drives.
Yep. Agreed. I think the turnover thing, I will say, if the defensive line plays up to their potential for Michigan, that is I don't think it wins them the game, but that I think I'm banking on that in my prediction that I think their defensive line plays more like we expected them to against Texas. And I do think that causes havoc and turnovers. If they don't, it will be a long day for Michigan.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. One more thing I want to bring up, and then we'll get to a couple comments because we have a few more in here. You know who ESPN SP Plus has predicted the win this game, Zach?
The way you said it, I'm going to say Michigan.
They do. They have Michigan projected to win 30-26.
I don't know if S&P
If Michigan
Plus.
scores 30 points on this USC defense, I don't care how many turnovers they got. This USC defense is dead again. They are dead to me if they let Michigan score 30 on them. And I'm not trying to be critical of Michigan's offense. It's just, trying to put in a new running back, trying to put in a new quarterback. Like, you have all that happen, and then they score 30 on them. Like, yeah, I'm not going to be a believer in this USC defense if that
Well,
happens. I'll actually probably believe more in this Michigan offense, which I would have at the beginning of the year if they had started Alex Orji. I said this at the beginning of the year. Alex Orji is your path to a better offense, but, Sherrod Moore didn't listen to me, so maybe I need to give him my number again.
I would say maybe S&P Plus is projecting 3 pick sixes for Will Johnson start the Heisman campaign.
You know what? Will Johnson will be carried around the campus if that happens. 3 pick sixes. Yeah. All right. Blue Wolverine says our kicker keeps it in, keeps us in it deep into the game. Zavada, which I love saying that last name,
Zavada.
Where are they getting all these kickers from? That's what I want to know. You have Moody, whoever they had last year, I forgot his name already, and then Zavada. Like, what in the world? Do they just have a kicker pipeline somewhere? That's what I want to know.
It's called Australia. Oh wait, no, that's
Yeah.
punters.
I was gonna say that's punters. And then Sean, a little off topic here, but he says, just watch the recap show from earlier. I love how angry you guys got, particularly Zach with Mr. Fish, this goal line call. Hilarious. Yeah,
He deserved it. He deserved it.
Did we get a little too angry sometimes, Zach? I think sometimes we might, but if the people like it, who are we to stop?
That's fair. That's fair.
And Sean also says, I think keeps it close, or keeps this game a lot closer. USC is really hard to gauge at this point based on LSU's play since. I agree. If
Sean knows ball.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I don't judge anybody for having second in their power rankings. I have them second in my, I have them second in my power rankings as well. Let's just move on, Zach. Just move on.
Yep.
I have them second in my power rankings as well. But I do agree, like, that LSU win at the beginning of the year does not look nearly as good as it did. Does not look nearly as good now as it did then. And so it does make me question, should I move them down? But I don't know who I move them down for. I don't think I move them down under Nebraska because Nebraska hasn't beaten anybody. And Oregon looked good for one game. Do I move them down under Oregon? No. And Penn State almost lost to a MAC team. So,
yeah.
I do.
Well, and I think that this isn't where we're going, but I think we're talking about maybe the relative disappointment of the Big Ten thus far is that I think we thought maybe there were 4 to 6 teams that really could be in that upper tier. And I think right now the only team that's demonstrated that they belong in that upper tier is Ohio State. And it's not because of who they played, but because
Indiana, Zach. Don't forget Indiana.
We're not going there.
I'm just messing with you.
I mean, they've proven that they're not in the bottom. That's what they've proven.
Dave is booing me still. Sorry, Dave. All right, we better move on, Zach. We're never going to get to this Nebraska game if we don't move on now.
Oh, and Nebraska fans will be very sad. So let's do it.
They were already calling me out earlier for saving it till the end, so that way they watch it till the end. You know the bit.